Hello and welcome back, my legal aficionados. It's your legal companion, Cami Lynn. I'm back on Lawyer Up, Legal Insights Unwrapped, the go-to channel for everything courtroom drama, guys. So buckle up. I want you to buckle up for a legal roller coaster today. We've got some twists, we've got some turns. We may even have a few somersaults or two. So I want you to stick around. But before we dive into the complexities of the legal labyrinth today, let's ignite our legal dilemma meter. Bing, bing. It's our imaginary legal dilemma meter, guys. If you're ready for the legal heat, smash that like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I do want to thank you guys because we've now reached 100 subscribers, which we're very thankful for. We just kicked off this channel a couple of weeks ago. So again, thank you so much. Now, I do want to get your thoughts, guys, on Lady Justice. Is Lady Justice on the side of state, Fani Willis, or is Lady Justice on the side of the defense, Donald Trump, and the rest of the co-defendants? We want to hear your predictions, your opinions. So drop them in the comment section down below. Let's unravel the legal saga here. All right, guys. So we have this courtroom in Atlanta. We have Judge Scott McAfee. He's the presiding judge. Last month, he found himself in somewhat of an awkward position. His former boss, you heard that right, Fani Willis, the Fulton County, she is in his courtroom now, fighting allegations that threatened her position, her hold on this election interference case involving our former president, Donald J. Trump. And so we got this tense exchange with the defense lawyers. Now, as you guys know, Judge McAfee, he's been pretty cool. He's kept his cool demeanor throughout all of this. He's been asked questions as to whether or not he's going to be able to escape the political drama. The stakes are high, guys. The stakes are very high. This judge is only 34. He's new into this role. He's only been in this role for a year. He has to decide whether or not he should disqualify Fani Willis over this romance with Nathan Wade, the lawyer that she hired for this case. So the plot has thickened, and it involves accusation of self-dealing, questionable use of public funds for romantic getaways. You guys heard this. It's the getaways to Napa, California, to Miami, to Aruba, to Belize. I mean, the list goes on and on. These people are all over the world on vacation. So again, there's a lot of accusations here, a lot of factual documents that have been presented, and the judge does have quite the dilemma on his hands. Now, legal experts are divided. They're divided in this. Some criticize Willis's judgment, which I think rightly so can be criticized, while there's some opinions clash on whether or not her actions actually create a genuine conflict of interest. So is this just the appearance of a conflict? Is that enough to disqualify an entire district attorney's office? And it keeps the legal community is buzzing about this. Or does Judge McAfee, does he need to look at this as whether or not a actual conflict of interest actually exists? And so this is the legal standard that he needs to consider: the appearance of a conflict, or whether or not there is an actual conflict that exists. And if so, whether or not Fani, or the state, I should say in this case, whether she benefited from this relationship in any way. And there's been debate on that. Again, they've talked about this in court numerous times as to whether or not Fani actually paid Nathan back for these trips. She's alleged that she did. She stated that she's paid him back. She paid him back in cash. You guys remember, she said her dad told her that a woman, this is the Black thing. You always keep cash on you. And so she's always paid Nathan back in cash. There's no bank statement showing she withdrew money out of her account to actually pay Nathan. He has no deposit statement showing that he actually deposited money that may have been given by Fani. So that information is absent in this case, which makes it a little bit difficult as the judge is considering the factors. There's a couple of questions that have to be asked as the judge is looking at this legal standard. That is, when did this relationship begin? Again, there's been some conflict around, or just some confusion, I should say. We're not clear on when the relationship actually began. I will say Ashley Merchant did a really good job of creating doubt as to Fani and Nathan's testimony regarding the relationship and the beginning stage of it. So Ashley has stated that this relation, the defense, they affirm, they are standing on this, that this relationship began before Trump's indictment. Fani and the state are saying, hey, nope, this relationship started after we met at this judicial conference much later, started in 2022. Is what she's basically stating. So it's very difficult, I might add, to determine exactly the veracity of that statement, as to determine even when this relationship began. Now, we've heard from some of the witnesses. We've heard from her BFF from that she actually rented or stayed at her condo, who alleged that this relationship, or she stated that this relationship started prior to the indictment. We've seen text messages from Attorney Terrence Bradley actually texting with Ashley Merchant and stating that the relationship began before the indictment. Now, again, when he got on that witness stand, he said, "Oh, can't remember anything. I've only had one conversation with Nathan Wade about this. It was at the water cooler. And, that was the only thing that was ever stated." But according to his text messages, that it looks like that was not true. So again, the judge needs to decide based on the information, the evidentiary information that has been presented in court, when did this relationship begin? When did it end? And did Fani benefit from the relationship? What the judge is not deciding on, which I think is pretty important here, is whether or not Nathan had the experience, the skill set to actually take on this type of case. The judge is of the mindset that, hey, you have a law degree, you should be able to take on this case. But again, Nathan Wade had never actually prosecuted a felony case. So again, we're just throwing that out there. These are some of the factors that the judge is considering. Again, the legal scholars are in a debate over whether or not Ms. Willis's actions actually constitute a legitimate actual conflict of interest, or merely just the appearance of one. We know that Judge McAfee tends to lean on textualism. So that is the judiciary philosophy, which favors a strict interpretation of the law. So we see tensions, they're going to rise here. They are rising. So you guys tell me in the comments section, can an appearance of a conflict be enough for disqualification? Or I should say, do you think the appearance of a conflict should be enough for the disqualification? Let me know. Do you think the appearance of a conflict is enough, or should the judge rely on the actual conflict of interest here? And I will say, Fani presented this supplemental motion brief to the judge a couple of days ago, and she presented this. She said the stakes, the bar is higher. Okay, guys, the bar is higher for the disqualification of an elected official, an elected DA, not just your regular prosecutor, but an elected district attorney. The bar needs to be higher when you consider disqualification. So she's alleged that, and she's put together actually a pretty decent brief saying, hey, judge, disqualification requires an actual conflict of interest. So we're going to see whether or not the judge agrees with that. But now I will say this, that the judge has maintained his composure. It is a challenge. We're hearing about these trips. We're hearing about text messages over in the middle of the night, trips over to the condo in the middle of the night, 4 a.m. text saying, hey, babe, I'm back, or at least some text at 4 a.m. after he left her place of residence at that time. So there's a lot of salacious chatter around this case, and it's a challenge to Judge McAfee, but he does seem to be keeping things moving along as he's striving to sort of lower the temperature in the courtroom between the two parties. Now, I will say this, it looks like the judge has been thrown a curveball himself. Initially, Judge McAfee was going to be running for this judgeship, and he was unopposed. He didn't have a challenger, but now, guys, he has a Democratic challenger, and this challenger is publicly criticizing Judge McAfee's handling of this disqualification matter. So this guy's name is Mr. Patillo, And he accuses the judge, Judge McAfee, of turning the proceedings into a daily, is what he's described it as, a daily reality show. Now, I'm going to disagree with that. That's right. I'm going to disagree. It's Fani Willis. It's all the things that she had going on behind the scenes, all the things that we didn't know about, the shenanigans between the two. That's what's turned this into a reality show. It's not the judge, it's Fani. Okay, it's Fani. So again, so there that sort of ups the ante, kind of throws in a little curveball in terms of how this judge is going to decide. We all know Fulton County is a very Democratic county. So it has some political undertones. You just can't get around the political undertones because they amplify the complexity of this legal spectacle between the state and Donald Trump and the defendants. So, again, guys, that's what I have for you today. Again, we're in the midst of this enthralling legal odyssey. We're going to wait to see how the judge decides. He has a couple of days. He didn't decide Monday. He didn't decide Tuesday. I sort of waited. I wanted to see if he was going to make a decision today. He didn't. So we have Wednesday, that means tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday for him to make his decision. So again, I want you to share your thoughts, your predictions, your opinions, and any burning questions that you have below. We'll see if we can answer. Keep that engagement legal meter up. We want it to soar. Please hit that like. Please hit that share. Please hit that subscribe. Again, thank you again for helping us reach that 100 subscribers. We really appreciate that. So before we sign off, I just want to say until next time, stay legal, stay curious, and keep unwrapping those legal enigmas. And we will see you next time. All right, guys, have a good one.